Hi, and welcome to a video that is on the topic how you can fill up empty notebooks and how you can use several notebooks for different things and different kinds of journaling. I am extremely obsessed with this just idea, and I have been for several years. And you might think it's a little bit excessive to have several journals, notebooks for different things, but I think it's a fun idea. I think it's extreme to some, maybe. Why not just keep one where you keep everything in? Why not just have one kind of journal? And why not just have academic writing in one thing? I don't know. You do you. But I'm the kind of person where it gets... it's like... And I promise you, I did not buy all of these in one sitting. Definitely not. These are kind of like ones I've collected over the years. This one's been around since what, 2013? 2013 or 2013, whatever you want to call it. They all look different. Some are just kind of boring looking. They look like this, and I just got new ones, so a few I have got and I wasted some money on. I'm not materialistic. I'm only materialistic with instruments if I have to buy them, books and writing and journals. So these, I promise you, they were not all bought in one sitting, but I do love to have several notebooks and journals and things, and if you know what you're doing, go ahead and go crazy. But I'm just not materialistic with most things in life. I don't decorate my room with anything ever if it's not like childhood toys or gifts from other people. Yeah, cowboy hats are really old. Instruments are the ones I've had for a while. Books I'm kind of the same with. It's the one thing I want to spend a lot of money on, and the same thing with I think clothes. It's like where I always want to buy a cute dress or like, but I'm trying to really, even with this kind of stuff and with books and with anything ever, I hate doing anything too much with money. But when it comes to certain passions like writing and organizing certain things, you know, you have to. If you can, you do it. But I'm just going to get into it. It's going to be kind of messy, but I think I'm going to get into the journaling, like your thoughts, your feelings, your life, your daily happenings, you know. And I think we're just going to start with kind of morning pages, which I think is a good fun idea I've seen around. I think why all of this happened in the first place was because I saw a Tumblr post in 2015, back when I had Tumblr and I wasn't there, I think it was just this amazing person who came up with this great idea. Different ways you could fill up your notebooks, different reasons for it, whatever, different kinds of journals and notebooks and whatever. And it was really good. It was everything from dream journal to morning pages and everything like that, and I thought it was a really good idea. The only one I don't have anymore, I used to have that in That's an Idea. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have that journal, but if you have that journal, go ahead. But dream journal or dream notebook, I think, can be a fun idea to keep it on your desk or a table near you. When you wake up, you can write it down immediately. And I think I walked into a store and I saw I love sleep on a notebook, so it was like kind of obvious what it was for. But I was like, yeah, that's my dream journal. I always wanted to have one, and that's gonna be it. But lately, I don't dream. I used to dream crazy dreams in high school where I got murdered and just awful things, like terrible like nightmares, or really, really good creative fun dreams, or horror movies. Like I think a lot of my dreams have been like horror movie material, so therefore I love to wake up. Even if I was super scared, I also thought they were kind of interesting, so I used to write them down. And sometimes really good dreams when I'm like flying or floating on clouds or whatever. That's very typical. But that's an idea. Dream journal. I don't have one right now. Might have in the future again if I start dreaming again, but I've stopped, but that's just an idea. It's fun. You can kind of, if you forget your dreams, I think people always kind of forget their dreams So that's a good idea. But I'm just gonna start with, yeah, keep a dream journal if you want to. I'm not gonna, not these days. I don't dream anything. But we have morning pages, and or morning write. I just think it sounds more fancy, morning pages. And it just shows this pink little, I love the idea of like a pastel kind of bright color for the morning, so you get excited for the day. But then some people say write 3, the idea kind of is kind of like a traditional, if it's a traditional thing, I don't know, but write kind of like 3 pages stream of consciousness every day. Sometimes it's just few sentences. I don't think it's stupid even if you just have a few sentences in the morning. Like it could be affirmations, it could be this is a beautiful day, and I put on my, I'm just gonna try, I write, I don't know, sometimes I write certain journal entries in English, sometimes in Swedish. It's just the way I live. I live in this just American, half Swedish American world in some way because of country music, what? But I do sometimes kind of it just hits me. Sometimes I just like, I'll write it in English and sometimes in Swedish, but this is in Swedish, and as I can translate it, it's a beautiful day, and I put on my nice pink dress that makes me very happy. Nothing worries me today, and I have nothing to be worried about. It's silly. I will start focusing on myself, blah blah blah. So it's like, it can be positive things. If you had an anxious day last night, or anxious day last night, if you had an anxious yesterday, I kind of like the idea of waking up next morning and writing something positive for yourself to be excited for the day, something to be grateful for. It could be anything. And I think in the future, this one I just started, I filled up an old one in 2017, from 2015 to 2017, and then I stopped having morning pages, but I think I'm going to start with it again. And this is like one day and then another day, and you can write how much you want. With journaling, I kind of like the idea of just not being super consistent. It's kind of fun when it's like, oh, you see like a few entries, journal entries from 2022, and then maybe I stop and I have a few in 2024 again, and I don't think that matters, because you write when you feel inspired, or you have something to say, or you feel like it's useful for you if you have some anxious problems or something you're thinking about, worried about, stress, whatever, or if you want to get out positive feelings too, whatever. I think it's great. Morning pages, definitely recommend. I think it's a good way to start the day, and I think it's best to use it for like gratitude, or if you're anxious in the morning, like very positive feelings or very negative feelings. I think that's not necessarily negative. I don't always have super negative feelings in this life. Like just like the highs and the lows in the morning, and just sort it through and then move on. Morning pages, do what you want. Stream of consciousness, write whatever you feel and whatever you want. That was the first one. Technically Dream Journal was the first one, but morning pages, why not? This is gonna be the longest, 8 minutes. Sorry, I'm just gonna go into them very quickly. Oh no, this is gonna be so long. Normal journal. This is one I found on Amazon, or I saw it in someone's video, and they were like, this is, I think it's like Charlotte Bronte's journal, one of her journal entries on here, and it looks extremely beautiful, vintage in a way. I always wanted a vintage looking journal that's really cute and looks kind of old-fashioned and vintage, and it's too nice to use. It looks like this on the inside. I don't know if I even want to use it, but yeah, this is just like what happened during the day, how you feel, what's daily happenings, normal journal, whatever happened that day, how you feel. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go through them quickly because I can talk for sure. I think it's pretty cool to use one for recipes. So kind of like some of these journals, this is not a journal, those were journals, this is more like a notebook where you collect certain things, and I think it's cool to have just kind of like basic looking ones too that don't really matter, but I think this one is really sweet and nice too. It's these flowers. And recipes, I had them in a Word document, but I think if it's on my computer, I might not go and look at it and I go on my computer and look at something else, but to actually bring this to the freaking kitchen and bring, like, once I really want to cook something more advanced and really get it into my brain what it's supposed to be, like pancakes or pizza, more advanced meals in my case, like not just like pasta and pasta, rice or simple things, more like pizza, pancakes, tacos, whatever, everything difficult, everything that's like, you know, as well as like maybe bring my computer and look up a recipe, but sort of, you know, it becomes your own thing and you want to really get it right. So 1 for recipes, and I'm just gonna move on. Creative writing too. I think I have 2 for that. So I have like 1 for, let's see if this is right. No, it's not this one. I have 1 for creative writing too, and it looks like this on the inside. And this is more for creative writing and prose. So 1 for that in the future. Usually I go in the Word documents. I think most writers, people who write today, kind of write a poem on their notes in their phone or on their computer. Just the digital age we're living in. But sometimes, you know, this can be very good for you to actually turn to a notebook and not just look at a screen too much. So prose, but we also have 1 for poetry. Like I did something for Instagram today when I got a little bit bored. I get so bored in between assignments. I take way too many study breaks. But this one, which can be like cut out poetry, whatever kind of poetry you want. I don't know if you can see these. And just the stream of consciousness poetry that isn't necessarily finished. You may look at, I usually look in this when it's like just something I write, free write kind of, and then I like to kind of go into a Word document and mix it around a little bit, and then I have this as my help. So prose, but also a poetry one, and I think that's cool to have them sort of divided. Then we have, this is already a long video, but I'm gonna have to live with that, and you don't have to watch the whole thing. This is just for anyone who wants to watch. 1 for brain dump. Anything that you come up with. It won't be, I already written what all the journals will be, but I think you can have one that's that will be super messy. So 1 for everything and anything. It's great to have one of those journals where you're like, this is for everything ever. Mind maps of any sort of ideas I have, things I have to remember, anything, everything, whatever. And then we have another one of these. I bought 2 because they were pretty. So songs, you know, I already have poetry, prose, but I also have songs, lyrics, and music journal. And this could be anything, kind of like music theory that I need to remember, chord progressions that would be cool for the future, for future songs, or usually I think this will be kind of like song lyrics. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything relating to songs, ideas for covers, anything I want to do with music goes into this one. And then we have a few boring looking ones, but I think that's fine. Recommendations, and I think this is usually like, this could even be stuff I see on Instagram. It can be people's kind of like bookstagrams, is that what you call it, people who Instagram about books, or people who write, but at the same time they might kind of recommend a poet they're inspired by or something. So just recommendations of like books I see on Instagram that I want to read to and I get interested in, or anything else. Movies, recommendations I see where I'm never going to remember that. If I exit the Instagram app, I will not look up that person again or something. So recommendations go in here. New words. This is super important for me, like Swedish and English words, basically. Kind of like words I never heard of, words I don't really know how to pronounce. Massachusetts, jewelry. Difficult words that I may know the meaning of, but kind of like, it could be that, but it could also be the definitions of words or synonyms to words I don't know of. New words. So I want to get it into my routine to learn a new word every day, or to learn relearn maybe hard words I forgot about, so I try to get that into my routine every day to learn a new word, and really just integrate it into my vocabulary. But it's hard. Sometimes I forget that I'm doing this. But learning a new word every day I think is super cool. And I also go, I didn't know if I thought this was silly or not, but like favorite words or words to use more. And I think that's kind of cool. I think that's I will usually look in this one too for poetry when I'm writing a poem. So maybe there are certain words I won't want to have in it more, because I tend to sometimes use the same ones. Wave, sigh, afternoon, eyes, solitude, quiet, a certain kind of like verbs and adjectives that I love a lot that I just use a little bit too much, so it becomes kind of monotone from my point of view, because I want to use more words that I never really use. But like favorite words or words to use more, or even like phrases. It's a little cool book like this. Why not? Why not have that if you want to? And then we have Zooms with friends, which is for the future. And yeah, Zooms with people. More like casual Zooms with maybe people I do collabs with, or people I meet with poetry. Where I might even doodle during the same time, but that's not nice. And where I write down what we say or do, or just any kind of like memories from those Zooms I want to keep in here. But I haven't started using this one yet. I kind of use some other notebook for that, but this one's just going to be for that. So that's just the future. I think that's kind of smart if you do that, or if you FaceTime with someone during a specific time of the week or something, or there's someone you hang out with that don't live nearby or whatever, on Zoom or FaceTime, why not have a separate notebook for just that memory, what happens during that or something, if they're okay with it. I don't even know. Learning new languages, learning a third language. I'm the worst. I've been the worst person for years since I was like 20 or 19. I've been trying my hardest to figure out which third language I should use, and technically, honestly, it should be German. It's what I know the most of anyway. So I might want to use this one for German, but I don't know how I'm gonna learn this third language. I feel like talking to someone who actually speaks that language is the smartest. So I'm gonna catch up with some German friends maybe, and see if I can learn German with them maybe, and as well figure out some courses on the internet or something, as well as like, you know, things you actually need to do when you learn the language. Watch German movies, watch things that will make me actually learn the language, but also like take some notes. And I think this will be that book. I also want to learn Italian. I want to learn, like, I'm so flaky with most things in life, but when it comes to learning a third language, I've been flaky for years, and I want to learn Italian, I want to learn German, some days it's Spanish, but I think I'm gonna go with German. Or Italian, I don't know, but it's gonna be this, and I'm gonna get that. So like if you're learning a new language, get a separate notebook for that, and get started. This one I just picked out, like I pick out the most random ones that are kind of cheap and simple. But why not keep one for books to read and books I have read? So I already made a little list of books I want to read. I have so many Shakespeare works I've never read. The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, Beatrix Potter, sorry. Emma by Jane Austen I already have, but I need to read it. The Secret History, there are so many books that I need to read, but also this one can be, I don't know why I'm holding it like this, I just want to make you see what it is. But I decided to just keep this very random one for future readings, as well as like what I want to read, but also books I have read, and kind of write down thoughts. I think that's super smart to remember them, or remember how they made you feel, whether it's a prose book or a classic book, or books you have to read, books you want to read, and need to remember that, or else you will forget. So this is kind of like sometimes like recommendations book, and this book is kind of both in a way, but like just lists a book I want to read, as well as like what did I think, what am I reading, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens as well. I'm always reading too many books all at once. I thought I was, yeah. So for instance, I'm reading Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, because I just felt like it. And Great Expectations. So like it's about time that I get my thoughts and feelings about these books into this notebook, as well as like plot and things that I need to remember about these books. I think that's very smart for the future, because you forget books. Can you tell me how a book when you were you read when you were 13 made you feel all the way through? You might remember glimpses, but do you remember the whole story? Nope. And you don't have to, obviously, but like to remember the most important parts, keep a little book journal. Why not? This one just says The Notebook, and looks like this on the inside. And then this one is A Dream Book and Future Me, Personal Growth and Questions to Know Yourself Better, as well as Goals. So it's like, it's kind of like a brain dump for future ideas and dreams and projects and whatever. So I wanted one of those, which I've already started. I've already started kind of planning music things, so that's cool. But to keep one for like ideas about your dreams, what you want to accomplish, really important too. This is a really long video. I'm not going to comment on how long the video is. I don't mind long videos if it's something interesting and you don't have to watch the whole thing, but I'm also going to write a list of all of these books anyway, so whatever. And then we have just this small one that I've always used for the same thing, I think. So it's just kind of like a book of ideas and things I want to do. So it's kind of the same as the other one, but it's like when I want to write it like down in a quick way. So this is more like planning it out, but this is like a quick kind of like, this is something I want to do. Yeah. And then we go into quotes. So quotes I see on the internet or something, I write down here, and I usually write the date when I found those quotes. And it's a simple notebook, and I kind of like the sort of balance between some are more fancier looking and nicer looking, and some are kind of simple and boring. I think that's just fun to have that, so many different notebooks. I think that those were all of the personal ones, where it's like my not so formal life or whatever. But we could go into sort of academia, more learning, like important learning. But here we have literature and languages. So this is everything I kind of keep in this one, and I think this is outside of university. This is just for fun, like research for pleasure, you know, in like literature and languages. So anything of like, I always forget literature terms and what they mean, even like really basic ones, so I kind of keep them in here and write them down here, as well as like sometimes this has been like learn new words too, so whatever. And this is also another kind of like research for pleasure book, so it's still kind of things that has to do with languages mostly. Then if we really go into like university things, I just have these, I basically just bought these 2 white lines, and I have not filled them up yet because they're for the future stuff. And then I have this one where this is like the big important one, and I take pictures of this one because it looks for my Instagram because it looks really nice. So sometimes this is where it's like I cannot get it wrong. I think in other smaller little notebooks, or maybe if I go in these ones, I could be wrong. It's okay if I write the wrong thing, but here it's like in a very nice and fancy way, we write down the exact information of what we're learning for an assignment or for the learning purpose too. So that's pretty much it. I also have just this to-do list, and that's not necessarily a notebook, but I can put this, it's a magnet, so I can put this on my lamp. But I have just these this to-do list thing. It says get it done. And the last one, but not the least, that I'm going to show you before this video is over, is just this idea that you can keep a little small pocketbook with you in your bag when you're out and about. And maybe you can even put it in your pocket like this. Yeah, pocketbook, that's why you call it a pocketbook. Duh. But it's like too big for this dress for some reason. Yeah, it doesn't fit in this dress. But you can put it in kind of like any sort of dress or in your little bag. And it's just for when you're running errands or something like that. And anything could come up with numbers and math. I think when you're out and about, and when you're out and about in this society, anything could come up. So keeping one of these for whatever happens, and a pen is really important. So anything goes in here that comes up. And that was pretty much it. I also have planners. Other ideas I have is that you can keep one for your expenses. I think that's super important. Expenses and anything that has to do with money and growing up. I still kind of have the same one that's kind of like adulthood stuff, which is for like doing laundry. I still have that from like when I was like 18 and learning how to do laundry or something. And I used to have an anxious journal too, but I don't have that anymore because I don't experience that so much anymore. Yeah, and like that's pretty much it. I hope you like this video. It's very long, but I'm very passionate about writing and having things kind of like organized. Even if it's a little bit excessive. It's, as I say, I didn't buy all of these in one sitting. I just have many be hanging around. And it's just, I think it's a fun idea. I think it's a fun idea to have. If you love writing, whether you ever want to do it professionally or as a job or whatever, if you have the passion, you can actually be a little excessive and crazy about organizing your writing. I just think it's fun. Why not? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have anything else, I think. I think I kind of said everything. Currently my studio isn't really working. I'm trying to get it back into what it's supposed to be so I can record. So I thought I would just make this vlog because I was really I wanted to make like a YouTube video, but I couldn't record today. So instead I made this vlog, and I thought notebooks is something I'm very passionate about. And I think for the future I'm making videos on books and maybe other get to know me videos, but I'm not making many vlogs. They don't get many views or comments anyway. I think it's like, it is a music channel. This is just like separate things sometimes. Why not? Hope you guys have a great new week. I'm making this on a Monday. Bye. Bye bye.